What is up, Hardcore Nation? It's Hardcore Christopher here, and today, well, tonight, whatever, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on this Yu-Gi-Oh! Article that I found by Screen Rant. Basically, all I did was just Google bad Yu-Gi-Oh! Articles, and I just picked one that looked interesting. So, let's get right into this. The 12 worst Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, and 14 that are worth a fortune. I don't know about a fortune, but let's continue. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has produced some really rare and powerful cards over the years. Unfortunately, it's also produced some really bad ones too. And this was by Chloe Price, and this is actually a 2-year-old article. This article was done on February 18th, 2019. So let's continue. I do like that picture. Okay. We're back at it with more Yu-Gi-Oh! Card facts. In case you didn't spot my previous article on Yu-Gi-Oh! I used to play a lot as a kid, so did I. Back where I am from, you were either into Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Digimon didn't even factor. Not sorry. Well, to be fair, I didn't even know about Digimon until years later. And there was a fierce rivalry between the two factions. Looking back on it, they're both widely successful card games. I would say Yu-Gi-Oh! Is way more successful just because it's simpler than the I didn't play. I dabbled in the whole Pokemon card game. I could never get into it. Let's see, where did I leave off? So there probably wasn't any need for any tribalism, but hey. Anyway, I casually played Yu-Gi-Oh! And watched the anime as a kid. As an adult, I appreciate the many memes that Yu-Gi-Oh! The anime has bestowed upon us, but I am a little rusty. That being said, there are some Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards that even I remember being bad or have heard should not be played. I also know that the game has been around long enough to have some crazy expensive cards pop up. We grew up watching Seto Kaiba flashing his money looking for a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Yeah, and he already had 3. He didn't need a 4th, and he ripped up Solomon's Blue Eyes. In the anime, so it's not exactly surprising. Okay, let's continue. But what are the worst of the worst and the best of the best? What is the most expensive card that you can get on the market? I've done some digging, and there are some wildly expensive and massively terrible cards that we can check out together. If you're an old-timer like me, you might want to dust off your old deck and see if you have any surprise valuables in there. If you have some bad cards, you may want to trade them out to someone who doesn't necessarily know better. Well, what's the point in that? If they're bad, you might as well just say they're bad. Number 26. Expensive. Crush Card Virus? $2,474. I'm gonna be checking all the cards on this, because quite frankly, I have a hard time believing, even though this was back in 2019, I don't think Crush Card ever got that high. Crush Card Virus. Price.
Van Dyke and Barnell Street. There's nothing out there.
That's kind of how Lewis likes it.
Past the projects, ball fields. Perfect place for a rat to find a hole.
TCG player. 78 cents. Okay. Okay, so these are some 2020 prices, and these are first editions. $249, $135, $110, and might as just round it up and say 100. Okay. But okay. This better say for first edition. You know how I keep mentioning Seto Kaiba? Yes, that's because he and the anime as a whole have shaped the Yu-Gi-Oh community in a number of ways, from memes to new players. This guy won't stop refreshing the community. This card, for example, can be sold for thousands if it bears the code SJCS-EN004. Why? Because it is the card Seto Kaiba uses in the anime and cites as an important player in his deck. Cards with this number were handed out to winners in the Shonen Jump Championship as a promo card, and I am so jealous. Okay. You could have just... This whole part is fine about the... Hold on. This part. If it bears the code SJCS-EN004. Okay. And then you could have said okay. Okay. For thousands. Okay, I can't get it. I can't get it to highlight. But okay. You could have just did can be sold for thousands if it bears the code SJCS-EN004. Why? Okay. This part about Seto Kaiba. This does not need to be here. You could have just deleted this and said this card, for example, can be sold for thousands of dollars. I truly do think that thousands is not even logical. Hundreds, maybe $100 if lucky. But yeah, you could have just said why.
I've never heard snoring.
Exactly. No problem.
Why? And you could have said because cards with SJCS-EN004 were handed out to winners in the Shonen Jump Championship as a promo card. And that's where you could have just put a period. Okay, on to the next one. Zone Eater. Yeah, this card's terrible. Unless you have a water deck, this card is worth your Unless you have a water deck, this card is not worth your time. That being said, I have seen many games end with a few rounds of each player using this card, even if you do have a low level water deck. This won't do you any favors. Honestly, this is another hard pass for me, as I consider it a waste of energy to keep around. It only prolongs games in a desperate attempt to gain ground. This is a bad card, no doubt about it. Okay, if you don't know what Zone Eater does, the effect reads as such. A monster attacked by this card will be destroyed during the end phase of the 5th turn after the attack. 250 attack, 200 defense. Yeah, like that's getting anything. Like that's going anywhere and doing anything. Okay. Expensive. GCS Dark Magician Girl. 1100 to 6600. Yeah, I can already tell. This person doesn't really know what they're talking about. Okay. This girl may as well be the mascot of the franchise at this point. Hold on. What? Okay, players are all too familiar with her, and even casuals and non-players can recognize her. With her popularity and fame in mind, it is no wonder that her prices can go so high. Many old school fans, such as myself, may want to check their decks and see if they have one. If you have cash and want to bag yourself a card game celebrity to add to your collection, Dark Magician Girl is a good investment.
You're going to hell.
This. Okay. Time to look at Dark Magician Girl prices. Dark. In.
If you're thinking of shooting me with that, just remember this fine empty chamber is one bullet. So, either you get extremely lucky, or you pull the trigger, I shoot you, and it's me immediately.
Dark Magician Girl price.
Pick up the gun, put it to your bracelet.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
Pull the trigger. Or else you shoot that.
Okay. Here's the problem. Dark Magician Girl. She has 2,000 attack, 1,700 defense. Is a dark attribute and is a level 6. Gains 300 attack for every Dark Magician or Dark Magician Black Chaos in the graveyard. Okay. So. She has 2,000 defense. No, sorry. She has 2,000 attack, 1,700 defense. So. Okay, so 3 Dark Magician. And since she gains 300 attack for every single one, 1 Dark Magician would be 23. 26 for another one. 29. And Dark Magician is hard to get out. He needs 2 tributes. Not 1 like Dark Magician Girl. And Dark Magician, well, Magician of Black Chaos. This isn't Dark Magician. Of Chaos. Sorry, my internet is is hard to get out on his own. Addition of Black Chaos, well, what's so bad about it? It's a ritual monster. And I know how weird this is going to be, but oh, by the way, yeah, in case you haven't noticed, I didn't go to the prices because there, oops, it's at the top. There is no way that a dark magician girl can get 1100 to 6600. And calling her the mascot of the franchise at this point, even in 2019, yeah, that doesn't work. What would be the mascot of duel monsters then?
Sexually based
Yu-Gi-Oh!
offenses are considered especially heinous. In New York City, the dedicated
Honestly,
detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad.
I
known
think
as
it'd be
the
either
Special
Dark
Victims Unit.
Magician
These are their stories.
Blue Eyes. Okay, so this is Fortress Well. Okay. The worst. Fortress Well. The attack and defense stats do not warrant the amount of effort it takes to get this bad boy to work. Its average stats of 2350 attack and 2150 defense are not worth having to wait to have both it and Fortress Well's Oath in your hand. That's before you have to sacrifice a bunch of monsters to satisfy that star rating. It is an actual joke that you have to work so hard to obtain an average monster when there are far stronger and better quality ones out there. Okay, what's its level? 1, 2, 3. 7. Honestly, the conditions are not that hard to meet. And besides, 2350 is not a bad body on a monster. It just sucks that it's a ritual monster, because you have to have both the ritual and the monster in your hand for it to work. Oh, expensive. Blue Eyes White Dragon. 1300, 3900. Okay. The Blue Eyes White Dragon is basically an old but gold meme at this point. I can hear Kaiba's voice in my head saying, saying it every time I see that card. You can earn some actual gold and flash some cash if you happen to sell the rare Chinese version of the beloved card. It's another case of very few. Wait. It's another case of very few were made back in the day, and an even more limited number are being sold online or in obscure stores. This is a cool, but is it below all my next paycheck cool? Maybe. No, it's not. And allow me to explain why it's not. Now, when I believe my first Yu-Gi-Oh deck had cards in different languages, which was kind of cool because I didn't know what it was saying. But since Yu-Gi-Oh is so popular, there is no way that you're getting 1300 to 3900 for a Chinese version of the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Just no way. Okay, I gotta speed this up. Okay. Worst.
The outlook for overpriced pizza has never been better. Who's gonna stop us? Sir, Little Caesars has the lowest price pizza guarantee.
Parasitic Tiki. Why? This guy takes being situational to the next level. He gains 500 damage per token in play. This is an issue in Duel Links because there are very few tokens and there are only 3 monster zones. This means that your best outcome is gaining 1,000 points and hoping your opponent plays a token or two, but this is unlikely. All this tied together means he is useless, and there is no point in playing Parasitic Tiki in the Duel Links version of the game. Wait. I've played Duel Links. I have it installed on this on this laptop. I play it from time to time, but I haven't played it in a long time. And even when I was playing it every day, I never ran in to Parasitic Tiki. And you're telling me that the Parasitic Tiki is on this list because of Duel Links, which is an entirely different format. Yeah. Next, expensive, armored, Blue Eyes White Dragon, 500,000. No. Is this even real? The internet is pretty conflicted about the answer, with equal parts denial and confirmation easily found everywhere. One thing can be certain, this card is a legend. It is practically a mythical creature. At this point, to be honest, I would not be surprised to hear that this card is real and that someone paid way more than $500,000 for it if you have the cash. Hold on.
Still, you can't wait for the blood to be off the face.
I got this. Excuse me,
A
Sergeant Benson's not
R
receiving visitors.
Lieutenant Tucker, IAB. Well,
Lieutenant Murphy, acting commanding officer, SVU.
since when?
Since Lewis escaped.
On the job 2 days, Sergeant slips a detail, possibly executes a man she's accused of beating.
Sergeant Benson did what she had to save a 12-year-old girl.
And you witnessed that.
Heard some of it on the radio. We were on the scene in the immediate aftermath.
I need to hear Sergeant Benson say that.
When she's out of shock, and her doctor clears her for visitors.
Fine. I'll be seeing you at IAB, Lieutenant Murphy. All the rest of you is fine.
Have lit. Give me an exam now, so
Yeah, Lieutenant Murphy backed him up.
not for long.
This card doesn't even exist.
Position. So what? So
Gonna guess that they just ran out of options.
made it there. Time to see what shoot stuff.
Okay.
My
Honestly, a lot of early fusions were terrible. So people actively laugh when I brought up this card in the past. Another waste of deck space. This is the weakest fusion monster card that does not have an effect, with Flame Ghost being the next worst. Its attack and defense scores of 900 and 700 respectively, when added together, make it weaker than Mystical Sheep number 2,
I think I just need some quiet.
which is a creature it can create. It
I'm
can
doing IAB first thing in the morning.
create.
You have a lawyer, right?
There are
A lawyer?
strong.
No, for what?
This makes no sense.
Lewis shot himself. You know what he said to me?
The materials are Petite Angel and Mystical
So I want this to be the last
and
thing
Mystical
you see
Sheep number 2,
before you die.
which is a creature Fusionist cannot create Mystical Sheep number 2. Next. Number 18, Cyberstein. Cyberstein was very broken. You may be surprised to see Cyberstein on here, since Cyberstein is a relatively common card in decks across the world. However, the version I am talking about is a very specific one. During the Shonen Jump Championship, rare promotional versions of Cyberstein were given to the winners of the championship. The price of $4,500 is honestly the cheapest price I have seen for this card.
He forced me into his car and me to the door.
There's only one problem.
He drove me to the granary, where he led me at gunpoint to where Amelia was tied up.
The Shonen Jump Championship Series.
He could rape me first, and then Amelia, or Amelia first.
There was probably not that many winners.
I told him to rate me.
So, let's just move on. 17. Sword Slasher.
Because I decided not to offer any resistance.
Okay.
Lewis gets off all the struggle.
Back when Yu-Gi-Oh! First came out, there were certain cards that were not so bad. They weren't good, but they certainly weren't bad either. The Sword Slasher card is one of them nowadays. However, there are plenty of level 3 monsters who have better stats than his measly 1450 and 1450 attack and 1500 defense. You have to sacrifice a monster just to get this. Now, no one would be willing to do that in this current meta. A decade ago, sure, but not now. Okay.
Hypothetically, if you were to tell me now that you would be arrested when he was handcuffed to that bed frame, then ethically I couldn't let you deny that on the stand.
I think 1450 and 1500 is decent for a...
Your account of what happened at the granary would be called into question. You'd lose your job.
I don't... Well, actually, no. Because when you think about it, there's another one tribute monster called Dark Magician Girl, and she has 2,000. So, Sword Slasher... But I think it's unfair to compare a 2-year ago meta to meta from a decade ago.
But the truth of the matter is, I knew the risk involved. I knew that I could die. It is what it is.
Okay.
No, it's not over.
So,
He wants me to remember the murder. He wants to be inside my head.
16 to 6,000. Yeah, right. Yes, you have indeed seen this card before. Yes, you can indeed buy it for around 99 cents in stores, just like any other Yu-Gi-Oh card. However, if your shrink card has the magic words first edition on it, then you are holding an actual gold mine. Mine. No, you're not.
Thanks for meeting us, Dr. Warner.
Officially, you aren't here. But I wanted to give you a heads
In your deck, as long as it is legit, you can earn thousands selling this bad boy. You'll have a chance to shrink your debts or student loan payments. This is very...
Somebody to post-mortem.
Well, if he did, it worked. I have to rule it a copy.
Circumstances undetermined? He shot himself. He forced you to play Russian roulette.
This is
over a rating.
You did. I didn't.
very... You're not gonna get 1,600 to 6,000 for shrink. And these are... Those are first editions in the picture, but you're not even gonna get that. I don't even think. First, Larva Moth. Okay. Larva Moth's series is one that hypothetically makes sense. The longer you hang onto Petite Moth in battle, the stronger it becomes. The problem is having to wait around for it to evolve. Just waiting 2 turns for Lava Moth is crazy, let alone waiting 5 turns to get perfectly Ultimate Great Moth. The insect series is not the most practical of card series, and can honestly be skipped over, especially these days. Even Pokemon level up faster than this guy.
there was a struggle for the gun. You were trying to save
That's not what happened.
There was a struggle for the gun. You pulled the trigger to save your own life. Life of a little girl.
Okay, Petite Moth is a very weak card. So let's just read the text. This monster can only be special summoned by offering Petite Moth as a tribute on the second of your turns after Petite Moth has been
CIS Los Angeles.
equipped with Cocoon of Evolution. Yeah, bad effect. And this is a level 2. First, there are two main problems here. Petite Moth is not going to stay around for 2 turns, and Cocoon of Evolution.
There are many reasons for waiting.
Cocoon of Evolution cannot be protected in any way, shape, or form. So, you have to also wait 5 turns for Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth, and that's just a beater, so yeah.
Which could make you about 5 times more likely to have a stroke.
Let's continue.
Serious, so this is no
14.
Talk to a doctor
Expensive.
by phone,
Gold
online,
sarcophagus.
or in person.
1372. 2200. Another limited edition. This card is somehow even rarer than others I have mentioned so far. There were only 25 gold sarcophagus cards made. Not only this, but they were handed out to skilled winners of the Pharaoh's Tour and Shonen Jump Championship. This means that you had to be immensely skilled and in the right place and time to even have a chance of winning this back in the day. These days, they are sold for thousands online to the highest bidder. Okay. I want to explain something. What people are asking, they're more than likely not going to get. Okay, worse. Sparks. I do agree with this entry. Arguably the worst card in the game, period. I want to go with... I wouldn't say that. I'm gonna say Sparks is one of the worst cards, but definitely not the worst card in the game. Sparks is a card that deals 200 damage to your opponent. This seems like a good thing until you remember that you both start with 800 life points. At the beginning of the game, most players do not even give this card a second glance and refuse to have it take valuable space in their decks. If you play this card, you will reveal your desperation and noob status for sure. Be sure to leave this one at home in the garbage or give it to a young sibling who doesn't know better.
Is there a problem, Lieutenant?
Yeah. What are you doing?
I work here. They took my gun and my shield.
Expensive.
We agreed you'd take leave.
Promo
Go home and take care of yourself.
Des.
What you're going through is far more taxing than you realize.
Actually, I do better on
I have no idea how to pronounce
I
that.
disagree. Something else. I'm hearing rumors IAB wants to call this justifiable
I'm gonna call it
homicide.
Promo
And I made
DV.
it very clear to IAB.
Okay.
I would not perjure myself.
No one warns William Lewis.
Lewis.
So,
No one wants to see
first
you
of
go
all,
down for something that needed to
what kind
happen.
of name is that? Second, why do we not know how much well, wait.
So appearances are
Why
more
do
important than
we
truth.
not know much
Truth doesn't
about
always
it?
set you free, Sergeant.
Literally, the only thing I know about
IAB
this card
wants to do the
is
right
that
thing.
collectors go crazy
Let
for
them.
it. Well, let's
All due
just
respect,
stop.
I don't trust IAB.
It's a
And I'm not sure that I trust you either.
it's a level 6, 2200 attack, 1700 defense,
If IAB wants to
and
call
the
it
effect
justifiable
is
homicide, we should back that up.
IAB might be setting a trap for Liberty.
when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. This card gains 200 attack each time a normal or quick play spell card is activated until the end of the turn. 2200, 1700, not bad stats. The effect isn't really worthwhile, but it's a good body.
Or that's what they want us to think. Easy on the persecution complex. In light of the inconclusive autopsy report, it's cleaner for all concerned. Hey, I'm not
I
gonna
know
lie.
that
No one's asking you to.
I know that
You
is
see what
not
happened.
exactly
None of
the
us did.
coolest entry
That's
of all
IAB needs to
time,
know.
but it's all I've got for you on this one. If you happen to know why people go nuts for this card, then people do
I wasn't there.
then
But I heard him say
please
for
do
benefit,
let me
he was
know.
sliding it over
I'm
to
burning with
for your
curiosity
benefit.
over
Yes,
why
he
this
was
is so
taunting Des
expensive.
and us. We heard him
Pot of Generosity, yeah. Return 2 cards from your hand to your deck, then shuffle your deck. How pointless is this? Pretty much very. Unless you know your deck by heart. Surely, if you have cultivated your deck
Then you don't know who fired.
carefully, then you should not need to use this card or even have it in your deck at all. The fact that you then shuffle your deck means that it is possible to get at least one of the 2 cards you returned back into your deck into your hand at any given moment in the game. So what is even the point? The point is that they were trying to make, well, they're not going to, Konami isn't going to bring Pot of Greed back because Pot of Greed is a +1. Expensive.
Detective Amaro.
Minerva the Exalted Light Swarm.
Would you mind shut the door?
We have an Xyz monster. Okay, another prize card. This one was given out
You undermined your
at
partner.
the Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series back in 2015. The playability of this particular card is what gives it such high replayability and desirable qualities. Not only is it actually valuable in your deck,
I'll change my testimony.
but it is also
I'll change the subject.
super rare,
You're right. I'm new here. You've been asking me how long?
and you are incredibly
You've been struggling.
unlikely to come across one in real matches unless you purchase one yourself. Man, I wish I had the cash to throw at this bad boy. Too bad I have bills and rent to pay. It's whatever.
Your marriage survived 8 years on narcotics and warrants. You're 2 years here. It's tough taking these crimes home, isn't it?
Thousand Eyes Idol.
Are you going somewhere with this, Lieutenant? Yet the same
explain this.
he doesn't give up. That's what makes
It
him
has
good.
Thousand Eyes Idol. Well, the picture has Thousand Eyes Idol.
You'll have a
Black
persecution
Illusion Magic,
All I'm saying is
which you can
life takes a
use to summon
toll.
Relinquished.
Job takes a toll. Sometimes you get so deep, you lose perspective.
You have Polymerization, and Relinquished, and then Thousand Eyes Restrict.
This couldn't wait until morning.
Both Relinquished and Thousand Eyes Restrict have seen competitive
I
play,
told you everything.
So the rest of your
I
squad
do believe.
and your partner.
So, what more is there to say?
If you're a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh player, let me know if I'm right or wrong.
My account.
Okay.
Lewis shot
While it
himself.
is cool and creepy that it has 18 eyes, it cannot look away from the fact that it is a bad card ignoring the token monsters.
No,
It is one of the worst
I am not
normal
going to admit to
monsters
justifiable homicide.
in the entire game. It literally has 0 attack and defense and is a level 1 monster. You cannot get any lower than that. There was a period where Thousand Eyes Restrict was banned, which made this card even more useless than it already was,
You ready to get back to work?
which
Oh, yes,
is
I am.
honestly a feat at this
Well, I
point.
hate to break it to you, but looks like he's going to be
Okay.
around for a while.
Well, PP needs to put you back in charge, Liv.
That could be Murphy. I invited him. Murphy, come on in.
Okay, let me
We're just
explain
talking
this.
about you. What are you drinking, Lieutenant?
I'm fine, thanks. I'm not bringing good news.
What?
Thousand Eyes
Just got off the phone with Barba. He fought it tooth and nail. All what? The Brooklyn DA.
Actually, I can't
troubled
explain
by
this.
IAP's report. That kid. Even the police commissioner still going at it, but
Okay.
DA's office will be sending you a target letter. They're convening a grand jury to investigate the death of William Lewis.
Doom Caliber Knight, $700.
I'm sorry.
I find it incredibly hard to believe. In the 2006 Shonen Jump Championship promo, cards of the promo cards of the Doom Caliber Knight were handed out to the lucky winners of the tournaments. Those who came in the third, second, or first place were awarded this awesome card, while there have been more reprints of this card. Specifically, it is the ones with the code GLD4-EN023 that were handed out. Doom Caliber Knight is a tough card to use, but a useful one nonetheless. If you managed to get one of these during the competition, then I salute you. Okay. First, slot machine.
All I know is being a police sergeant. That's who I am. It's like all I got. Then we fight it.
Okay. This one feels like a lot of effort for little reward to show for it. After all, it has no support and 2,000 attack and 2,300 defense. Yet you have to go and sacrifice 2 monsters just to get this. That does not make sense. I mean, if it had a support, that would make it more useful, or at least feel a bit more worth it than this. I might get it.
See the difference.
There is not much point in going to such great lengths for this one. Just leave this one out of the deck. Is Lucky 7 not a card? Hold on. Google.
Can take care of you. So it's a pretty good place to start. Get started today at dailyharvest.com.
This is Scentbird. Scentbird is a fragrance
Google.
subscription. Choose from
Google is your friend when you want to know something.
to your door every month. It's just $14.95 for 30 days supply. Text
Okay.
246-810 and get your second month free.
Lucky 7.
Dr. Warner, your autopsy report concluded that William Lewis, who was right-handed, was shot in his left temple. Did you find that at odds with Sergeant Benson's account of suicide?
Gun suicides are usually committed with the dominant hand, but it is possible he shot himself with his left.
Possible, but unusual. And when a right-handed person shoots someone at point-blank range in the temple in the position Sergeant Benson and Mr. Lewis were in, which side of the victim's head would the injury
The left.
Is Sergeant Benson right-handed? If
Oh,
it was a homicide
that
at range, there would be
is
blood spatter
actually-
and GSR on the shooter. Was there blood spatter and GSR on
Yes, but a suicide at that
what was the
proximity
card
could
Bandit Keith
penetrate
used in the anime?
So you're saying it's possible that William Lewis was
Whoops.
right-handed, shot himself with his left hand, leaving the same blood spatter and gunshot residue on Sergeant Benson that would exist if she killed him.
Okay.
That's why I ruled it a cupping. The evidence is open for interpretation.
Most certainly.
Expensive.
Just heard from Melinda.
Other testimony, John.
She really couldn't talk, but from what I got, Strauss is pushing her to say that it wasn't suicide.
Lewis knew what he was doing.
Schooner.
Also tell that to the grand jury. They'll believe you. And that's what happened with me.
But the difference is,
The
now when you're
Leonon.
in the Brooklyn grand jury, they're suspicious of NYPD.
Rycan. I'm more than likely
Asked Melinda about
butchering this name. So
when I
$5,999.
Now, as far as I know, they're not going to bring it coerced.
I don't think people are discussing the grand jury. I
That-
have to tell you how inappropriate it would be
that-
to talk to anyone who is
That price just,
It's just a friendly
we're not
rush
even
counsel.
talking
Any news?
Earth
Trying to figure out
anymore. We're
Strauss's
talking
angle?
like stratosphere
Hey, Strauss
level.
cast doubt on it being
This is another
suicide.
mysterious
Any
card that we
scenario
do
they
not
have would
know much
qualify as
about.
justified use of force.
All
Politics.
I know
DA,
is that
mayor, they just want to show everyone that they got
is-
NYPD by
is
short
that
hands. Maybe,
is
but I know
was
Strauss. I mean, he's all ambition. He's not
awarded
looking just for
to
rubber stamp
winners
ID.
So what's
of
that
the
again?
2009 Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship. World Championships.
I was assigned to a
And
two-person
that
protective detail for
at
Sergeant
most
Benson.
there
And
are
was she
6
At
copies
first,
of this
but
card
later
out
she
there.
disobeyed her commander's orders and
Barely
insisted we take her to interview a
anyone
witness.
has
Would you say she
seen
was determined to get
them
involved
or
in the death of William
knows
Lewis? I'd say so. Yes. In
who
fact, she was so
owns
determined
them.
she tricked you and your
There
partner in order to
have
escape and run to the witness.
been
Yes. Has that ever happened to you
2
before?
that
Little
have
girl?
gone
Not in all
up
my 18 years.
for sale on
Certainly not by a
eBay
fellow officer. We were risking
at
our lives to protect.
around this price point.
Sergeant Benson informed
Again,
me she needed to use the ladies' room.
the sellers are asking.
And where'd
They're
you go
not
after she ditched
getting.
you and your partner?
She commandeered
But
a
I'm
car,
very
threatened the driver, and then went out.
curious to know more information. This is a very beautiful and intriguing
Why do you think Sergeant
card
Benson went to these lengths?
indeed.
I assume it's because she
Okay,
on her own.
expensive.
It took us some time to track the town car to the grave.
Armament
Even then,
of
it's a cavern
leather
space with a
lord,
lot of ground
of
cover.
lethal lords, excuse me.
Your partner, Mr. Lewis, on the radio, you were not immediately
Okay.
locate them. That's right. And you played the radio
Really?
when silence before the
Okay, so way back when, there were rumors going around that this card was sold for over $1 million. Yep.
Lewis was dead. We did not
Yeah. No. I doubt. I sincerely doubt that this card was sold for over $1 million. While that rumor was ultimately proved to be wrong, and of course it was, because that doesn't make any sense, it did boost the heck out of this card's fame. Now we know that this has sold at a maximum of $9,000 and has been valued at around $8,000. It was handed out to winners of the 2006 World Championship Series, and there are again a limited number of them out in the world. $9,000. They find that on eBay as well. Worst. Performance of Sword.
Can you tell us what you heard?
Arguably one of the worst ritual monsters. What really lets this card down is its stats. It has 1950 attack and 1850 defense, and it is a 6-star, 6th level. 6-star monster. What is even the point of this? Sacrificing some of your better monsters just to get this card is pointless.
No. I started screaming. Then I heard police.
This situation feels a lot like previous ones I have mentioned, with a high effort, low results, well, low reward kind of thing. I honestly would rather bypass this one, even with its combo strats.
I'm so sorry.
What combo strats?
It's like you was putting words in my mouth.
And honestly, I think this author is completely wrong, but I will save that. What? Expensive. Tournament. Blackluster Soldier.
You have a lot of friends there.
Name your price in parentheses.
He's been pushing the theory that your whole squad waited for you to execute Lewis before they...
There is no card like this one. While it does have the exact same attributes, well, wait a minute. While it does have the exact same abilities as its more famous cousin, the Blue Eyes White Dragon, it is the only card in Yu-Gi-Oh! History to be printed on stainless steel. No other card has been bestowed this honor. It was awarded during the 1991 Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship in Japan and disappeared for a while. There were rumors that it was put up for sale for between $10 and $12 million. But then others others say that it changed hands for $2 million. Either way, that is absolutely nuts. One problem. The exact same abilities, but here's the thing. Blackluster Soldier. Now, Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning, saw play. However, Blackluster Soldier: The Ritual never saw play, and it doesn't have any abilities. Neither does the Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Standard on the Subaru Ascent. The 3-row Subaru Ascent.
Okay, Darren's seen Elf.
Get 0% for 63 months on select new 2021
This
models. Now through February 1st.
this low-level fairies.
A little boost with your morning favorites made mini. All the flavors you love, turn to bite size. And ready to go when you are.
No fork, no plate.
This low-level fairy swap is almost worthless. It has barely any stats to its name, and its features make it a highly situational card. While situational cards can be useful, they are only good if the situation occurs more than once in a blue moon. If the situation is too rare, then it renders the card useless for 99.9% of the time. Cards like this may as well not be in the deck. To be honest, you may as well try to palm this off on a newer player. Why? I mean, yeah, I know you don't like the card, but just telling like, for me, I'm getting back into the game. I'm getting back into the game slowly. Even if somebody offered me Dancing Elf, I wouldn't take it. Dark Magician? Oh, Dark Magician is fetching $800 to $1,600, and this article was written in 2019. It's 2021. I don't see Dark Magician selling for $800 to $1,600 in 2019, or even when this card came out, or when it came out in starter deck Yugi. I believe it did. Yeah, there's no way. Made back in 1999, this is a really rare card. While the Dark Magician was made in many countries and languages, this one is different in the weekly editions of Shonen Jump magazine. Only 100 of these cards were made in Chinese. You can find some of these 100 on eBay, and if you are lucky, they will even be in mint condition. I highly doubt that, because Yu-Gi-Oh cards are shiny cardboard basically, and cardboard warps very easily due to heat, and yeah, just watch out for fakes. If you don't want to be caught buying someone's trap card. And with that, this concludes my reaction to the 12 worst Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And just go back to the top here. Because I hit the title. Can you believe that? I forgot the title.
So strongly that we asked that it be entered into records before we gave our verdict.
The 12 worst Yu-Gi-Oh cards and 14 that are worth a fortune. I'm Hardcore Christopher. I hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And as always, I'm Hardcore Christopher. Keep it hardcore, everyone.
Testified, and my lawyer says that I can't.
Yeah, you want